Okay, let's start now. So good afternoon and welcome to everybody. Welcome to our very distinguished speaker and friend, Gianfranco Minutolo. I am Luca Della Santa, the chapter leader of Amsterdam, and jointly with Roberto De Tuoni, always from the Amsterdam chapter, and Umberto Prandi, chapter leader in Munich, we will moderate the webinar in the coming hour. This evening will follow the third of a series of webinars organized by the Amsterdam and Munich chapters. You know, the topic for all the series is a common one. Over the past few months, our lives have been affected in so many ways by this COVID-19 pandemic that we decided to organize these webinars to learn from thought leaders from different business and academic fields the way they are navigating through these unprecedented times. Before starting, I would like to remind all participants to keep the microphones off for the entire duration of the webinar. And while we would love to hear live from each of you the questions you might want to pose to Gianfranco, given the high number of attendances, we need to ask you to raise your question through the chat options. And Roberto, who will moderate the Q&A later on, will then pick them up and ask. I'm now handing over to Umberto, who will start introducing Gianfranco Minutolo, if this is needed, and entering live in the topic of this webinar. Umberto, please go ahead.
Indeed. Thank you, Luca. And yeah, I guess I have the easy part tonight introducing Gianfranco. I think most of you know him already, but you know, just for the protocol, Gianfranco, of course, Bocconi alumnus. He is a founder and CEO of Corporate Consulting SRL and author of the book I robot non sanno fare networking per adesso. But of course, most of us will know him from his previous role as the former head of Bocconi Alumni Relation and director of Bocconi Alumni Association, which then became Bocconi Alumni Community as we know today. In his role for 7 years, if I recall correctly, from 2010 until the end of 2017, Gianfranco certainly shaped and had a tremendous impact in the way our Bocconi alumni community grow into what it is today. And certainly he was inspiring for a lot of us in the way he was able to grow, develop, and nurture relations. And for this reason, we thought it would be a great occasion to have a chat with him tonight. As Luca mentioned, the last month have had a strong impact in the way we run our business and in the way we manage our personal and professional relationships. And so, Gianfranco, maybe to kick off the session this evening, it would be great if you could share with us how the most recent month have changed the way you run your business, and maybe if you can put a stronger focus on the way you managed your network and how it changed the way you grow it.
Okay. Thank you, my friends. I'm very happy to be here, and thank you for inviting me tonight. I'm very happy to come back in the chapter, Bocconi Alumni chapter, since a few years. I stayed as alumni relation head for 8 years, but I really enjoy myself. I met a lot of friends, and most of them are here tonight. So thank you so much. So going straight to your question, let me say that I'm a consultant, so my life didn't change anymore. I mean, I was used to work in front of my Mac, and I spent all my time in front of my Mac again. But with regard to your question, let me say that in brief, in my opinion, the coronavirus changed a few things as regard networking. I mean, first of all, enhance the possibility of having relationship with the people already in our network. Secondly, cancel the possibility of managing relationships with physical meetings, meaning having a negative psychological impact because we are human beings and we are and we live, let me say, by physical impact, by contacts, by looks, smells, emotions, you know, and videos, thanks God, still do not replace these essential elements of our life. But third, in my opinion, one of the most important impacts that COVID has in our life that greatly slow down the possibility of creating, let me say, new relationships with new people. I mean, in essence, on active relationships, which have been well worked on over time, COVID has not had a major negative impact on networking, but it was a great obstacle to create new ones, to start new projects with different people, to look for a new job, to look for a new client, to look for a new friends, why not? And we all realize that having a good network of contacts is an essential asset, but it takes time. But this is what we have to do. Let me take a few minutes to create the context that we left before any single lockdown. In my case, has been from the end of February. And first of all, we need to find an alignment on the term networking, because I used to hear a lot of different kind of definitions. So there are thousands of definitions, but because we have to talk the same language and we have to be conscious that there is not only one definition of networking, but thousands. I have mine. Of course, I wrote it on my book, but each one of us must have one and must devote time to creating it, because it's only the only way to confront between each other on a conscious way. And my personal definition is to consider networking as the activity carried out with constancy, sincerity, curiosity, and responsibility aimed at producing mutual opportunities and benefits. Networking, I always say that in my 8 years at Bocconi, is the practice and what I call the mother of all the soft skills, which is the ability to create, manage, and maintain interpersonal relationship. And this important skill is not managed until we are manager in a company that invests money in our lifelong learning, organizing opportunities, events to enhance our soft skill, like team building, like courses of leadership, of empathy, and so on. These are useful courses, but probably offered to an old age in order to change our habits. You know, it's like to imagine to change a sucker cake into a cheesecake. We are what we are now, if we have more than 40 years old. But since November of the last year, 2019, many companies have called me to create opportunity networking courses for their managers, because they are all realizing that this skill is very important, and they have to enhance the habits of their manager. Every one of us have years and years of habits, and it's not so easy to change, I know that, but we have to do it because we live in a world that has been changing in the last 20 years at the speed of light, at the speed that we not only couldn't assimilate it, no matter how fast it was changing, but often we couldn't even understand it anymore. So let's think about the context. There are global access at all possible news, democratization of internet, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, augmented reality, innovation, blockchain, big data. You know, 80% of the jobs are found thanks to personal relationships. And 70% of the jobs that there are today, in a few years, there will no more. There will be other different ones with skills that are known at the date. And 2 years ago, I participated attending an event of Singularity University Summit in Milan. And there was Pascal Finette, the speaker, who said that our skills and processes are no longer relevant in an financial world. So we need two different things, in my opinion. We have to stay listening and we have to stay connected, okay? Because I wrote this also on my website, but if we do not listen, we do not understand the context. And if we don't know where we are, it's very hard to understand where we have to go. And if we remain isolated, I mean, we give up listening to others whose path may reveal unthinkable opportunities for us. So we were growing up learning, learning in a linear way, and we have to change the work that we produce. We cannot attend anymore. We cannot expect anymore. I mean, I'm talking about all the skills, not only the hard skill that they are due, but also soft skill, of course. And they are all needed to compete and remain relevant. And I'm talking about all the aspects that we knew we had to deal with, but didn't move in on time because our pre-coronavirus, we were convinced that they were not our problem because we have other things to do. And coronavirus has been an earthquake that has compressed the time. And technology is faster taking root, especially in the habits of people with who we live. And if we want to continue to be relevant, we needed to know how to interact with each one of them. Remotely for now, I really hope not for so much time anymore, but as soon as we can come back to interact more physically with each one of them at the business dinner, at aperitives, and meetings like this one of today, but physically, as every sportsman knows, to win a game, we needed to train, to improve our personal skill, and this period can help us in order to dedicate time to learn and practice.
Excellent. Thank you, Gianfranco.
Okay, I'm happy.
Maybe building up on this, actually, so you gave a good picture of, you know, what is your definition of networking, what are the pillar and the cornerstone of it, and what are things that each of us should think of to remain relevant, right? Yes. So now looking forward, do you think there will be changes, persistent changes in the way people will approach networking? In other words, you alluded to some of the changes which already happened. Do you think this COVID-19 will accelerate such changes, or will introduce new paradigm? How do you see the future moving forward from here?
Oh, you know, coronavirus or COVID-19 absolutely changed the things, accelerated, but it's like to come into a Champions League, okay? Champions League has its rules, but if you want to win the Champions League, you have to prepare yourself. So networking and how to do it, I do not imagine extremely big changes because networking is still human, thanks God. And my hope is that COVID gave to all of us a greater awareness that effective and efficient management of one's networking is increasingly the difference between success and failure. Each one of us must be part and author of the restart. But to make it happen, everyone must keep his or her balance. You know, I grew up with the song of the Simple Minds. You are younger than me, but probably you know it, Alive and Kicking. And today, more than yesterday. We keep our network alive and active. We have all the tools to do it. So technology is our friend, thanks God. Okay, we have to use it, but we have to prepare ourselves in our daily life. But we must dedicate the right time. There is no excuse. If we don't find it, if we blame it on work, on family, or other priorities, you know, I don't have time to attend an event because I have to work. So, I mean, everybody, we have to work, but it's like when we don't follow the doctor's diet or when we don't follow the advice to quit smoking. We only hurt ourselves. And we use the time that smart working is offering us, okay? Everybody says that with the smart working, we work more than before, but we have to be able to manage our time. So time management is very important. I put in my agenda hours off in the morning dedicated to networking. We have to study and prepare to face the recovery in the best way, understanding our strengths and our weaknesses. And we have to enhance the skills that we believe that we have to enhance. So let me give you a few examples, practical examples. I mean, personally, a great support and benefit in the lockdown period, I had it devoting part of my time to phone to many friends who belong to my relational network, because I felt the need. You know, I'm a networker, and I felt the need to have a constant confrontation to fill the void of physical contact. And the comparison with different experiences, with different vision, with people who live in different areas than mine, have helped me significantly to metabolize useful reflections on how to deal with the changes. And I was, you know, what happened that during some of these phone calls, I thought to create an opportunity to everyone. And I created probably you saw it on the web, the cafe cone, you know, the coffee wheel that I publish on LinkedIn and on my website. I've done because I want to share the opportunity I have daily to talk with this kind of people for my network. I didn't believe that 350,000 views in a month and a half, you know, didn't mean that a friend of mine appreciated, but I didn't earn €1, okay? I've done because sharing is the basis of healthy networking. And doing this, I improved a lot. I received a lot of connection from a few peoples. With two of them, they became my clients, you know. So, but I didn't plan it. So there is not a new solution, Umberto. But in my opinion, the confirmation of what were the basic rules to create, to manage, and to maintain a network of relationship, going back to my definition. And what we have to do is to dedicate time working on our own database of contacts in a structured way. It's not a joke. Let me give another example. You know, my mobile, every one of you have a mobile, so you can share how many contacts do you have on your mobile. And my mobile and my database is professional. I mean, I dedicate time to, every time I get in touch with someone, I take the advantage of this to categorize and to update my database. And I defined 3 different circles. I have the IC, the MC, and the OC. IC means inner circle. So you, Umberto, you are part of this circle. There is the medium circle, people that probably I spend two times by phone, or I met in a dinner. So we know each other, but we are not so so close. And the outside circle is people that I found on my mobile phone, and I didn't know where I met it. And so, what I've done, just as the farmer that take care of his own land, and we have to weed out the weeds. We have to work daily. This is a fundamental activity. I dedicate every day at least 30 minutes to send birthday greetings to the people who belong to my network. Personalized greetings, okay? Not what the LinkedIn offer, okay? Don't do it, okay? Just personalize one. And if you are in the inner circle, I call you. If you are in the medium circle, I send a WhatsApp or a message on LinkedIn. Also, if you are on an outside circle, I can send you a message on LinkedIn. But what's happened? That I ask to look to, I dedicate time to do it because this can help me in order to clean my database. And this is what I've done today. I asked Luca, thanks Luca for sharing the attendee list of this event. And there was five guys that they have the birthday. His birthday is in July, and one of them, the birthday is today. I don't know if it's online, but Paolo is his birthday today. Okay, Paolo Brambilla. I don't know if he's online, but it was between the attendee list. So
happy birthday, Paolo.
Happy birthday, yes. But this can happen because this is a job, you know. It was just to figure out that this was a meeting. I had another choice to talk with another people because you have to prepare yourself, okay, when you meet people. And this occasion useful for me to maintain a relationship, to update my database, or to delete it if there is not correspondence, or delete it from LinkedIn if someone I wish my birthday last year didn't even bother to thank me after 1 year, okay? So I categorize with NML, that in my database is no more LinkedIn. And I do it not only to free up space, but to protect my network, because I needed to know that a person like that I will never introduce to anyone because it will make me look bad. And I care about my network, and I care about myself. And the synthesis of what I'm trying to say, that is my personal definition. That's why I said before that we have, every one of us, dedicated time, devoted time to create your personal relationship, your personal definition of networking, because you have to stay connected with your definition. And there are no shortcuts. Networking requires time, commitment, sincerity. That's why we are still friends after 15 years. Responsibility. I've always been committed in my job, curiosity, and a great sowing activity. You know, if you hope for a quick harvest, will not be satisfied. So the COVID, just to go straight to the end, has made it clear once and for all that having an effective network of relationships can make a difference in time of need. We must all go back to being farmer in our own field. It takes time, I know, it takes effort, I know, but those who don't apply, don't complain if they can't make good contacts.
Thank you, Gianfranco. This is a nice segue into the next session of the meeting. Of course, we want to give you, the participants, the opportunity to ask questions directly to Gianfranco. As Luca mentioned at the beginning, you can do so by using our chat. Just type your question, and then Roberto, who I'm giving now the word, will moderate the next part of the meeting. So Roberto, over to you for the Q&A.
Thank you, Umberto. Well, thought-provoking words from Gianfranco, and we have a first question, and I think it's a good link to what Gianfranco just mentioned to us. Gianfranco, you just explained and gave a few tips about how to maintain a network, a personal network, even in these difficult times because of all the limitation we have. Roberto is asking, networking is also built by a lot of small opportunities that are given to us by informal meetings, such as coffee machine meeting, drinks, conferences, and so on. And obviously, this opportunity has been taken away from us because of the limitation that we all know. Do you have any tip about how to increase our network only by using virtual media? So the question of Roberto is more about how to expand our network in the situation we are in now.
Yeah, there are a few. This is what I try to do also by myself on my LinkedIn profile. We have to become point of reference of one argument. I mean, I'm trying to become a point of reference of networking, and I dedicate part of my time. I have only 24 hours a day. I don't know how many hours do you have, but I have a family, I have to work, but I dedicate almost 1 hour, 1.5 hours to study and to improve myself in order to become more relevant on networking team. And this is what I try to do. I use the socials in order to become relevant for all the people that like this kind of argument. So what we can do, everybody, what we can do is to dedicate time in order to become relevant. This is called content marketing, you know, and not just to say, just to share something, but to say in a direct way something of very important. This can help other people to follow you, and you can become relevant for them, and you can create your own community. This is what you can do by yourself, okay? And there are a lot of opportunities on the web. So it's up to us to define which kind of social you want to follow.
Sure. And well, allow me to present to you my own personal question. So another Roberto is asking you a question. Do you think this situation we are now give us somehow the opportunity to evaluate our personal network in terms of quality rather than quantity? Considering that obviously the access, the limitation we have in meeting other people probably will give us the opportunity to focus on the relationship which are really important to us.
Yeah, I think that is very strictly connected on what I said a few minutes ago. I mean, we have to become an expert of something. And if you are, you, Roberto, Umberto, Luca, Walter, Tudor, how many of you I'm seeing at this moment, you are an expert of something, and use social, use the network in order to become more relevant for them. So become relevant is the only way to have visibility. In a world that in which everybody posts something, this video called this webinar is probably one of the 2 billion of webinars that there are today. So I want to thank you everybody for attending to this one. But you know, why you are here tonight? Not because I'm a good guy, but probably because you choose then attending, dedicate 1 hour at this event, you can improve something. I hope to do that. But this is not enough. What you have to do is to dedicate 30 minutes in order to prepare yourself to this webinar. So I don't know if you share, probably yes, the attendee list, okay? If you share the attendee list at this event, probably every one of the attendee, if they was used to do the right thing with dedicated time to know what Stella Munteanu is doing, she's working in a bank in Amsterdam, or Walter in Milan, or Tudor in Romania, you know? So if you prepare yourself, if you become relevant for someone, you have the possibility to become, to develop your network, always to do, and still to do business. Why not?
Thank you. And I pass on to the following question. It's coming from Gian Maria. Gian Maria defined himself as a young professional working in a big multinational. So he's asking your advice to a young professional who just started his professional career. Where would you start in order to implement your network within a big company? If you could give some little piece of advice to him.
Oh, this is not easy answer, but I mean, there are in the multinational companies, there are probably, I'm sure of it, there are a lot of opportunities, a lot of communities inside that give the opportunity to the younger guys to be part and to attend a meeting with the seniors one. And what I've done also in Bocconi, when I attended Bocconi, I was not a younger guy 13 years ago, but I still decided to attend events with the seniors of the community at the Bocconi University. This can help you to introduce yourself, to be known by them, and to be appreciated by them, and to become relevant by them. And relevance is, I always repeat this word from now until the end of this meeting, because in my opinion, is the most important things to do. They have to, he have or she, I don't know. No, you say he, Gian Maria, and be serious, be confident on his skills, and to be relevant for the seniors.
Well, thank you, Gianfranco. Following question is, going back to all this situation we have in our professional life of informal meetings, such as the one you just mentioned in your answer to Gian Maria. I think, very important thing is to be yourself, to present yourself the way you are. But how important it is, especially within your working environment, to maintain a sort of I'm not saying self-censorship, but sense-awareness of your environment, of your the people you are interacting with you within your network in a specific occasion. I don't know whether my question is clear enough.
No, say it in a different way.
Let's say you are at the coffee machine or at the Friday drinks, and you are not only with your peers, you are a young professional or not so young anymore, but you have your CEO next to you or your CFO or whoever.
Yeah.
And obviously you are yourself, but how important it is to maintain a sort of awareness of the audience, which might not be your direct audience, but the person who's simply standing next to you. Do you think the balance between be yourself and be aware of the situation is something to keep in mind, something important, or is your advice just be yourself, whatever the situation, whatever the context?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you don't have to be shy, and you are not shy if you are confident of yourself, if you are confident of who you are and what and how can you be helpful to other people. So my advice is always, first of all, to prepare your elevator pitch. Okay, you have to know it. You have to know it very well. You have to be able to introduce yourself in a good way, in the easiest way. You don't have to bore other people, first of all. And secondly, you don't have to talk absolutely at any time. I like to say that if God gave us one mouth and 2 ears, it's because we have to talk less and hear more. Okay, so we must be able to understand when we have to talk. We have to create empathy with the people that we have in front, and doing this, other people, I mean, you can understand how you can approach to the other, and doing this, people will appreciate it so much. So you have to do yourself, of course, but following these few rules that are part of the rules of good relationships management, you can improve a lot on your professional life.
Thank you. The next question is coming from Umberto. Umberto is saying that one of your 12 takeaways on that you mentioned in your book is that you have to find a good mentor, and a mentor will help your personal development. And do you have any best practice or a piece of advice about how to find these good mentors and how to manage these critical relations?
Okay, first of all, thank you, because Umberto showed to me that he read my book. So, yeah, mentorship is very, very important. First of all, you have to be confident to find a good mentor, because there are a lot of mentors that they are not. Because mentors, I've been lucky to find a few, but you can find mentors, you can find by yourself, but you can understand to find one when he or she would be able to give you the right answer, and you would be able to create an empathic relationships. I mean, this is very important. There is not an office of mentorship office, okay? There are companies that can help you to do that, but the capability to create a sense of belonging with this guy that can help you in a difficult moment, that would be very, very helpful to you. I mean, I've been very lucky to find a few ones that in the difficult moment gave me the right, also the strongest advice. Okay, and if you decide to follow them, you have to do it.
Thank you. Next question coming from Luca is basically asking whether there are limits of networking. He's saying, well, we can always look at tricks such as the one you mentioned in order to expand our network. But is there a way that you think, or you might think, that a bit is too much, that this is crossing the line, and the networking can be some sort of a boomerang, can have a sort of negative effect on you?
You know, as I said before, networking is, it needs time, okay? You cannot do business at the first meeting, okay? The base of networking is to create a good relation. If you do that, you would be able, otherwise a business, okay? And also in my definition, I defined networking as the sharing of opportunities, okay? But because I don't believe that networking is not connected to the business, but you do not have to sell something at the first meeting. You have to create, you have to be empathic, you have to dedicate time in order to listen, to create connection, to be curious, in order to help the people that you have in front, in order to give to him or her the opportunity to solve this problem. And that's what I made a few months ago with a woman who called me from the UK because she read my book, and talking with her, she's doing another job compared to mine, okay? But I dedicate time, and I've been able to help her because her daughter was in Florence during the coronavirus lockdown. And I dedicate my time in order to get to her and help. And 3 weeks ago, she introduced me to a managing director of a company, and you know how business works. So we have to put the seed and wait the right time in order to see it flourish.
Sure. We have a next, well, this is more an observation and a question, but maybe can be thought-provoking, can sparkle something. It's coming from Walter. Walter says that he spent his working life in a global company, and he believes that we have to keep our networking within the company, within the global company, but also seek for other type of networking, looking at professional association. So, well, I will set the question is, how important is this? How do you see this this dual possibility of internal networking and external networking within a professional association?
I totally agree with Walter. Walter has been the CFO of IBM, and is an alumnus. Hi, Walter. And I met him a lot of time at the Association of the CFOs in Italy. I totally agree with him. You know, I'm a business consultant, or dottore commercialista, but I prefer to dedicate my free time attending the professional association, not compare, not strictly connected to mine, because it can be a little bit boring, you know. So I try to share experiences between people different from me, and but I mean, it's very important. You have to, I mean, to dedicate time in order to put the seed all in a different field, because you really don't know which kind of fruit you need within 5 years. So you have to continue to share, you continue to dedicate professionally into managing your agenda in order to plan the way to invest your time. I hope to give an answer to Walter. Yeah, he said
Sure.
yeah. Okay.
The next question is actually has a good link with what you just mentioned. You mentioned about the importance of the first contact, the first meeting, how to plant the seed and see basically a relationship flourish within time. Roberto is asking, how can we introduce ourselves to somebody obviously who don't know us without giving the wrong impression of being looking for something, looking for a favor, or looking for some sort of, let's say, gain in the medium or long term? Do you have some tips in this respect?
There is not one, because I will use it every day. But you have to, what I do is to study the profile of the people that I want to meet. Okay, I always try to dedicate time, or every time I want to create a connection with someone. I try to find, first of all, the contacts. I study very well LinkedIn profile. I studied which kind of connection I have in contact with the people that I am looking to know, that I try to know. And I try to call someone connected to him or to her, asking which kind of people he is. I try to study his profile. So, and I created the first contact in a good way, using the right words. Sometimes I ask to someone to be introduced, and I always prepare a professional email. I never ask to Luca to introduce, hey, Luca, please give me the email, or Roberto, because I want to send an email, okay? I try to study what Roberto needs, the company. I try to define a professional email, and I create a connection. Let me say 80% of time people give you an answer. if you follow the good rules, okay? 20% say not to get it, okay? You cannot be able, you cannot believe to be appreciated for everybody, but you have to follow the good rules, and the good rules are professional. You have to be professional, you have to be kind, we're using the right words. Probably let me give you an example. 2 weeks ago, I had a video call with a potential client in Italy, and before the call, I studied very well the socials, okay, LinkedIn, the news on Google's, and in his LinkedIn profile, that guy was written that it was being the manager, the president of the Croce Rossa Red Cross base in his cities. And during the phone call, I used that word, and I say, hey, let me say thank you for what you're doing in this COVID period, because probably you have to, talking about Red Cross, the phone call was as following another street. I didn't know if I get the client, but for sure our phone call has been very, very well managed. Okay, so going back, you have to work.
Thank you, and this is a good bridge to the next question. It's coming from Chiara. Chiara say that she appreciates a lot all your tips. She read your book. So her question obviously doesn't want to be a criticism, but she raised an issue. She say, don't you think that a regular methodical update of your database, preparing an elevator pitch, could be somehow detrimental to the spontaneity or authenticity of a relationship?
Chiara, ciao Chiara, I don't believe that Cristiano Ronaldo, because he's Cristiano Ronaldo, he didn't prepare himself every day, hours a day, okay? We are talking about to manage a relation with someone, okay? If you want to win this kind of game, you have to be prepared. So being prepared is not a negative thing. It's a good thing to be able to manage the moment that you're dedicating with this person. I don't see negative approach. I never had negative approach, because when someone is talking with me and is able to say, hey Gianfranco, I read that you were called a tappino during your first school. I appreciate it, because I know that this person dedicated time to read my book. When I wrote that, my college mate called me tappino because I was very tall, but not tall. But and this means that he dedicated time to me, and I appreciate it. So it's not false. It means to be able to create a good relationship with people.
Excellent. I think being conscious of the time, we have a space and time for one last question, and it's coming from Sarah. Sarah would like to hear from you when a specific contact or a specific networking situation turned out to be really crucial for your professional development. So more an anecdotal story for her.
Every day, because what if you want to have a beautiful garden, you have to take care of it if you want to have a beautiful garden in springtime, you have to dedicate it time in wintertime, okay? So now we are talking the question of who says Sarah, is now at the moment I am in springtime. So thanks God, I see my garden flourish. Okay, I had a beautiful job. I enjoy myself. A lot of clients come because what I do is to help them to save money. And in this moment, in this period, everybody wants to do it. Another part of my life is to dedicate time to help companies in order to improve networking skills in a company. But, you know, it's what I've done during the winter time that I'm able to enjoy myself now. So networking is really a job, is a daily job. Don't believe that you think about networking only when you have to change the work, when you have to change your job. You have to do it daily, with passion, with smile, because if you don't do that, you will not be able to have a beautiful garden in springtime. So I hope, Sarah, to give you an answer, but it's crucial.
I think this is an excellent answer, actually, an excellent way to finish this Q&A. So thank you very much for your answer to our questions. And I pass the ball to Umberto for the conclusion of this event.
Thank you, Roberto.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Indeed, we covered a lot of ground. Thank you very much, Gianfranco, for your time tonight. And thank you all to our participants for the very interesting question. I will try to wrap up and give you 3 important reminders. So, of course, we covered a lot of topics. For me, the key 3 takeaway is, networking is the difference between success and failure. It is about being and remaining relevant. There is no excuse. I'm working or I have work to do that doesn't work. You should rather work on changing your habits and find time for practice, because networking requires constant training. And then finally, some words I noted is sharing, sincerity, genuinity. This is a basis. So you have to give others over time and be a farmer in your own field. So these were my 3 key takeaways. I'm sure lots more that every one of us has to take with him from this session tonight. 3 important heads up. So number 1, we have next week our last Aperitivo week as part of this series before the summer break. Then we will resume these sessions in September, and it will be with Gianluca Colonna, former CEO of Rosenthal Group and now CEO of Venini Group. Secondly, together with the Amsterdam chapter, we are supporting the fundraising campaign. Normally, given this time and due to the COVID emergency, it's natural to think about the healthcare system as a system which was particularly stressed, but don't forget about the impact on education. So there is a strong correlation between GDP and registration for a university and higher education, and we want to raise funds to support deserving students in need so that they can complete an excellent education despite the difficult economic times. And then finally, if you want to follow up on the session today, I can really recommend Gianfranco's book. So here it is. It's really great reading to sort of follow up on the good inspirational points that we took away this evening. And on this note, thank you all again and hope to see you soon at our next event.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Gianfranco.
Thank you.
Grazie Gianfranco, ciao.
Ciao a tutti.
Ciao a tutti.